All right, I'm going to show you how to do a hexagon tessellation by translating. Now there is a rotating one we could do with hexagons. It's a little complicated. Some of you might be wanting to try it, so you could do that. But this one we're just going to do by translating. So we're going to be moving our patty paper up or down and diagonally here. So first things first, okay, you need to start with a hexagon. Okay, that's going to be our base. And we are going to start by drawing on the actual paper here. And I'm just going to use the top to start, and I'm going to make this my design. Okay, kind of simple. Now I'm going to take a piece of patty paper, and the patty paper is for tracing. Okay, so I am going to trace the hexagon. The most important part of creating a great tessellation is making sure that when you're tracing, you're doing it as exact as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to also trace my design that I created. And again, you want to do this as exact as possible so that your tessellation hopefully comes together a little nicer. Okay, next, the translating part. Okay, I am going to translate this down on the bottom, so that means I need to move my patty paper up so that the top of the paper hexagon matches up with the bottom of the patty paper. So I went from here and I translated or shifted it up, and you want to try and get it as exact as possible, and then again trace as exact as possible here. Okay, so now I have my translated item on the top and the bottom. Okay, so notice that what's on the inside here is now on the outside on the bottom. Okay, and what's on the outside up here is on the inside. Okay, so next, okay, I moved my patty paper aside because I don't draw on it, I only trace. I'm going to make a design on this side here on the upper left. Okay, and I'm going to translate it down towards the bottom. Now, the most important part of this next steps is making sure you're not overlapping with the top and the bottom pieces, because when you have overlapping, it doesn't work. Okay, so I want to pay close attention and make sure I'm not doing any overlapping here. So I am going to create my design. Okay, kind of coming in like this. Okay, so notice I didn't go corner to corner this time. Okay, I just drew a little peak or a mountain. Now I put my patty paper on, okay, and line everything up so that I have it all exactly how I want it. And then I'm going to trace my new design. Okay, now I'm going to translate it over here. So as I'm shifting it diagonally, okay, you want to also check that it's not overlapping with your other bottom. Okay, that's important because overlapping, it's probably not going to work. Okay, so there I have that. Okay, the last one is probably the trickiest, okay, because we're gonna make a design here or here and we're gonna translate it, but we don't want it to collide with any of our other existing lines. Okay, so I'm going to make a design here, and let's just do something like a circle thing. Okay, so here, now there's no rhyme or reason to my design. Some of them you can actually look up online or in the textbook, and you can actually create certain figures. Okay, but me, I just make up my own. Okay, now we're going to shift it, and here, hopefully, if I can get everything lined up, it doesn't overlap with anything else. Okay, so that's pretty interesting figure so far. Now to see it a little more clearly, you can erase your hexagon lines. However, so notice I didn't go corner to corner on this one. I need to keep this hexagon line and this hexagon line. Okay, and same by my little arc here. Okay, I can erase this one, but I need this part of the hexagon, okay, to make sure I have an enclosed figure. Okay, so I can erase all of the other hexagon lines that aren't needed, because see here, I need this line to keep it connected here. So I can erase this part because my little arc here connects it. I can erase this one, but then again, I do need to keep this part of the hexagon, and then here and here. Okay, so kind of a weird, kind of looks like he has legs, kind of like a bird thing maybe, I don't know. Sky's the limit. All right, so next, so typically we would then take and we would outline it in a dark Sharpie so that we can copy it onto some thicker paper to create our tessellation on a bigger piece of paper. Okay, which actually I think I'm gonna do that anyways to show you guys. Okay, so I like to darken it so it's easier to see. And then you're gonna take a like construction paper, or I use note cards, and you are gonna put it against like a window or like your computer screen or something so that you can see through it, so that you can trace your figure onto it, because we want a thick piece of paper so that it can be used as a stencil. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly do this. Okay, now the more time you take on tracing, the better. Okay, I just didn't want to spend 5 minutes here tracing on video. So the better you can do at tracing and everything, the better it's going to fit together in the end. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my scissors and cut it apart. Okay, and again, the longer you take and the more time you take at cutting this out, the better. But with the video, I don't want you guys to just watch me sit here and cut for 5 minutes. Okay, so take your time on this, because you're gonna notice that mine probably isn't gonna match up perfectly just because I've been rushing here. So the longer and the more time you take on making sure everything is accurate, the better it's gonna fit together. Okay, so again, we use a thicker piece of paper so that we can use it as a stencil, okay? Because just a regular piece of paper as a stencil, it's not thick enough. So use like a note card, use construction paper, or maybe you have some thicker printer paper like cardstock or something that can be used, okay, to help you there. Okay, so there's my stencil. This is the only thing I need now, okay? And you should have a big piece of paper. Okay, if you don't, you can just use printer paper. Doesn't matter where you start on your sheet. Okay, I'm gonna kind of start in the corner. Some people like to start in the middle. Okay, I like to start in the corner. I don't really know what direction this is gonna translate, because I kind of forgot where my hexagon shape was, because it doesn't really look like a hexagon anymore. So again, I'm kind of going quickly through my tracing, but try and go nice and slow so that it will hopefully fit together a little nicer for you. Okay, so I am trying to figure out where I am going to translate. I think if I go down, this should translate here. Okay, also, I think if I go across here, it should translate here. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. You might just have to play around with it a little bit. Okay, remember translating is just shifting. Okay, notice I'll have to like change some lines a little bit to make sure it fits together. Okay, and then look at right here, I notice, okay, that looks very familiar. Here it fits. Okay, again, notice mine's not perfectly matched up because I went super quick. Okay, so you just go slow. Okay, again, you might have to change and fudge some lines a little bit. That's fine. Okay, we're humans. We make errors, we make mistakes. Okay, no big deal. Okay, no tessellation is going to be perfect. Okay, so then I kind of want to see what fits in here. It looks like, well, here, let's extend that. Looks like this is going to fit in here. So let's see if we can make it work. Okay, so you just keep going around, fitting it together. I wonder if that's going to connect there. Okay, then it looks like this is going to fit here. Okay, so again, you just keep tracing. Okay, you probably have noticed while I'm tracing that my lines aren't like perfectly fitting together, but they're close enough. It looks like here. See that? All I am is shifting. See that? All the way around. Okay, and you should be able to fill up an entire paper. Now, sometimes people like to just color them all in. Okay, sometimes people like to add like faces or animals to each one. Okay, tessellation is all about patterns. So you're gonna want to keep it looking nice and pretty. So if you're gonna make this into like let's say a bird or something, I don't really know what this looks like, but let's say we're gonna make it into a bird and have eyes or a mouth or something. Okay, I'm not artistic, hopefully some of you are better. You're gonna wanna do that same design on all of them. Okay, so that they all look the same. Okay, nice little pattern going on. Hopefully you guys are more creative than that. And then you can color, you can trace them, okay, and color them in to make it look nice and pretty. Okay, maybe you saw something else in mine that you think it could have been. The sky's the limit.